Welcome back to PSL Living. I'm Sarah Prohaska, Public Information Officer with the City of Port St. Lucie. I'm joined right now with Gary Smith. Gary Smith is the founder of a wonderful group called People Serious About Litter, and they do a ton of work to help keep Port St. Lucie clean and litter-free. And Gary is starting a brand new program with the school board called Students Serious About Litter, and he's here to tell us about this new effort. Thank you so much for joining us, Gary. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's exciting to be here and talk about a subject very important to me.
And let's introduce April Mincey.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're a program specialist for secondary counselors, correct? With the St. Lucie County School Board.
That's correct.
And you've kind of guided Gary and helped him get this program set up with the schools.
Yes, I have, and it's a pleasure.
All right. Gary, let's talk about people again. People Serious About Litter. How long has this group been around in Port St. Lucie?
Well, the group, we started calling ourselves a group, PSL Port St. Lucie, PSL People Serious About Litter.
Oh, there you go.
Probably goes back to about 2011.
Okay.
And we, then as time went on, the group did various things. And of course, during that period of time, I became a Rotarian.
Okay.
Now, I had been an active Rotarian years ago in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And for professional reasons, I had to sort of take a low profile and stay out of Rotary for some time. But when I came here, retired in 2008, I was invited to the Rotary Club, and it seemed like old times to me. So I was on the fast track, and within a couple of years, I was president of the Rotary Club. And
great.
So I am the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
And they're very instrumental in making it possible for people serious about litter to proceed with a program for the students.
Okay.
And that is possible because Rotary, our club, has sponsored People Serious About Litter as a special group within the umbrella of Rotary.
Okay, great.
Which is the Rotary Community Corps.
Okay.
And this is for people who are non-Rotarians, but nevertheless are interested in the Rotary motto of service above self.
Okay.
So that's what we are, and we meet once a month. We have a leadership meeting that meets for breakfast once a month. Okay. And we working hard on various projects, but it was a natural then to try to get this group to work on a project with students. Okay. Because oftentimes students need community service hours.
Exactly.
Sometimes for the Bright Futures program. Sometimes they like to get a lot of community service hours so they can put them on their resume when they apply to college. Exactly. And they want to give back to the community. Okay. So it's difficult for some students to get the transportation to go to the place, and that's where this program comes in. Okay. So we can talk about that program.
Okay, perfect. April, so it's all set up and it's ready to go, correct, with the schools?
So Gary reached out to me. Actually, I got his name through a school board member, which forwarded it to our deputy superintendent. Okay. And we just are big on communication and making sure, to help people who want to help our students and give our students opportunity. So yes, he shared with me his flyer and his idea, which I thought was awesome, especially the accessibility to students and being able, allowing them to be able to work in their community and to do something. So just as he shared, the opportunities for scholarships like Bright Futures and for college applications, although it's not needed for graduation for those mentioned and others, it's a wonderful thing to have students start early. So we're welcome the opportunity. He was able to share it out. All schools have the flyer, and they are welcome to participate. I can share it with our counselors. Okay, great. And it's in the early stages here, but we're looking forward to seeing what happens.
Exactly. So one of well, let's just go through what these kids are going to be doing with you guys. So the first thing you're going to do is you would have a meeting with the consent of the parent or guardian, make sure that they are allowed to participate in this, right? And then they pick a location. Who picks the location?
Well, I think they can benefit from those of us who know about litter and what makes sense, and some of the standards for like Adopt a Street program might be applicable. We know what's reasonable to expect students in terms of how dirty it's going to be, and is it within an easy walking distance of their home. So we're going to help them identify a work location and give them some tips on safety. And those of us who have been picking up litter for years, we've learned quite a bit about what it takes to be safe. The city also has a program that's streamed about safety, and they'll have access to that as well.
Perfect. Okay. And then they can determine how many hours or what time they...
The advantage of this program is that the parents don't have to take the student anywhere. So in a way, they're self-employed.
Okay, perfect.
But they will keep in touch with members of the program so that we can verify that they've done the work and keep records, and then turn those records in periodically to the school so that they can get credit for community service hours.
And it's all official, right? Like you said, so it can then be used for the things that they will need it for, scholarships or college applications and things like that. So, it's under the Rotary umbrella, correct? So that also helps, I would think, right?
Well, there is a problem with activities like this because officially the school, it's so new and so on. The school is not anxious to jump in to say that this is a school program because of legitimate insurance concerns, risk assessment, and the same applies to the city. But fortunately, because this is a Rotary Community Corps, in checking with Rotary International in Evanston, Illinois, we learned that we have third-party liability insurance for the participants in the Rotary Community Corps. So we're able to do it, and it makes me very, very proud of Rotary. And if this program were to fly and work here, it's something that other Rotary clubs in the United States might be interested in. But we have a lot of bugs to work out.
But you could be that model program.
Absolutely.
There you go.
In the words of the mayor, we could become a vanguard to other communities.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And litter is the city is we try to be really on top of litter in the city. And it's with the help of people and groups like you that really helps keep Port St. Lucie clean. But, I mean, we really couldn't do it without your groups and people, our citizens and our residents who are willing to take the time and do this.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The participation of citizens for programs that make a big difference, particularly if you're going to try to change the culture.
Exactly.
It's going to take real participation by students, or by not just students, but their parents and adults in the community.
Exactly. And they don't need to bring any supplies. Actually, the city's donating grabbers, right? What will they get when they show up to work?
The city is very supportive of this, and Carmen Capizzuto is the new director of community services.
Neighborhood services.
Oh, neighborhood.
They changed the name.
Okay. He is the director of neighborhood services. And Carmen and I go way back, and we've been working concerned together about the litter challenges in the city. So he's very supportive. I believe, I'm safe in saying I believe our mayor is very supportive. And the city is going to help us in any way they can. And one of the ways they might be able to help us is with their officers, or what we used to call code compliance officers. But those, I think they're still called officers, whether they're neighborhood officers.
They're still code compliance.
They're still compliance officers. Well, there's 10 of them in the city, and they're out and about every day. And it's possible that they will be able to help us verify that the work gets done, and that if there's a bag that needs to be picked up, they can take care of that.
Perfect.
So that's a big help. Because that's an important part. This is not a farce. We want to make sure that kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing
in order to get the credit. Exactly. And so the city is going to give grabbers, and the vest,
safety vests, I call them conspicuity vests.
There you go.
Make them conspicuous.
And you are going to give out this contraption. This is called the litter loop, right?
This it was made by a gentleman who's now 90 years old. In fact, I'll be picking him up here in an hour or so for lunch. We go out with a group called Retired Old Men Romeo, Retired Old Men Eating Out.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll be picking him up at 10 after 12. Okay. But this is the 5th generation of this contraption.
Okay.
Now, when I was having lunch with a bunch of old men, they knew I was gung-ho in litter, and while he's not picked up litter, he's gone out with me. But this is something that he was able to help with. And this is the 5th generation, and you take a standard 13-gallon kitchen bag, and it goes up through the middle, and it gets looped over the device, and there's a groove in the outside. There's a groove in the outside of it, and a 7-inch rubber band.
There you go.
Goes on, and now we have a bag, and it's sanitary.
And you don't have to touch it.
No, you don't have to touch it, and
your grabbers can fit in. It doesn't
and it gives the grabber could be banged. Something sticks to the cups of the grabber. You have something to bump it on.
Perfect.
And you can avoid carrying extra weight. And having suffered a rotator cuff injury from picking up litter,
oh my goodness! Okay.
This is a great device, and it's field tested. Many people have used it and they love it.
Okay.
Now, if you're used to a bucket, sometimes it's hard to break the habit. People get used to using a certain tool and they won't change. But those who have tried it and given it a fair test, they love it.
They like it. So it's
I will make these available.
Okay.
To if anybody responds to the opportunity to reach me.
There we go. You'll get a free litter loop.
I'll give them a free litter loop.
There you go. Just for contacting you.
Sure.
All right. That is awesome. And that is something you use with your group. I know you are really instrumental along Gatlin Boulevard, right? What's your zone?
Okay. Well, Gatlin was taken on in 2011 as a project. Now, I live in St. Lucie West. Okay. So I'm traveling at least 10 miles to get to the entry into Gatlin. And I don't like to mention names, but there was a city employee who challenged me to see what I could do about the litter at around the McDonald's and so on. So that's been going on for many years. I was out there this morning. I left the house at 20 till 7 this morning. Okay. And I got an hour and a half in picking up litter before I went back and showered. And I do that faithfully Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I pick up with another group in St. Lucie West, so I won't neglect my own neighborhood.
your backyard.
And so there are lots of stories to be told about our experience down on Darwin Boulevard. Okay. And we clean it. Yeah. We keep it clean. Yeah. And we have more and more people getting involved, picking up. It's not perfect, but it's a real laboratory. Yeah. And I have many nice things to say about the city's support in that project. Great. And I like to give a pitch to Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, I was going to say. And it's a constant battle. I mean, you pick it up, and you're, like you said, you're out there 2 days later, and there's more to pick up again. So it's a constant.
Yeah. There's two big mysteries about litter. Okay. The one is who's throwing it down, and the other one is who's picking it up.
There you go.
And it's hard to keep track of both groups.
Yeah, exactly. And and I know you're on a crusade against cigarette butts, right? That's your personal, and that's another thing that people just don't realize. Like when you just toss it on the ground, you're creating litter, and it's something that we have to pick up.
It is. My most recent estimate, and I won't give the math, but I think there's probably 70 million get thrown out in Port St. Lucie annually.
Oh my goodness.
They claim 20% of all land litter ends up in our waterways. Yeah. Now the fact that we're so close to the waterways, it's probably more than that here. Cigarette butts are very toxic. People don't believe it. They think they're just biodegradable. Yeah. And it's not the case.
They're little, so the people don't really think much.
Here we are, blaming other people for the problems, whether it's the septic tank owners, whether it's people who use fertilizers.
It's cigarette butts. You might not think about it.
We blame the discharges from Okeechobee, Lake Okeechobee, and yet one of the big factors is our own litter, land litter.
Yeah, that's very true.
And we don't like to talk about it.
No, and it's hard. Yeah, and it's cigarette butts alone. They're just little people just. And it's just habit to a lot of people, and they do not realize. You're right. that stuff ends up in our water that, kids walk around in it. It's not, it's not stuff that we want to leave out there. So.
And the city has, on your channel, has a little reminder of that.
We do. It's still airing. Yep. It's still airing.
I saw it yesterday.
I just saw it last week. It's still up there. Cigarette butts are not a good thing. So we need to put those in the trash and where they belong, not on the ground, right?
That's for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Actually, Gary, let's do this. If anyone is interested in people serious about litter or students serious about litter, they should contact you. Yes. And what is your contact information?
Okay. It's Gary Smith. Okay. And my phone number is, my cell phone is 412-977-0426.
All right.
And my
email?
My email address is shack, SHACK .Smith at Comcast.net.
Okay, perfect.
So I would welcome any contact.
Okay, parents, students interested in getting getting out, helping your community, getting some volunteer hours, perfect opportunity.
If a parent sees this and thinks that may be something that their son or daughter would be interested in, it can be generated from a parent.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And April, thank you so much. And your support for this, the school board support for this program is a great thing too. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I'm hoping if we reach the youth, what you were mentioning about seeing what's happening when you're walking around, you start to really care and realize that there's a problem. And if we get them young, maybe it'll even add some more relevance.
Exactly. Habits for their whole life. Hopefully get them when they're in school, and when they're adults, they'll keep doing it, and then they'll teach their kids, and hope that's the way
we get the mind of the student on this subject, which is important to everybody. They are capable of asking questions that are going to deserve an honest answer from the adults, from everybody, from government, from churches, from all segments of society. And that could really cause us to focus and address a subject that pretty much we're inclined to ignore.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree.
Students, you've heard the comment about seatbelts. They claim that the reason we've learned how to use our seatbelts is because the kids saw the importance of it and they nagged their parents to wear them.
Yeah, there you go.
And because it was for safety for the children. And so it is with litter. It's future generations. We stop littering. It's for our grandchildren.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, thank you so much for both of you for coming on and sharing this information. It's great, and hopefully we'll have a really successful program here with our students. And also, we really thank you, Gary, for all your work you've done in the city. It's awesome, and we hope you keep it up, and hope people join you. And like you said, it's a wonderful thing for our whole city. So we really appreciate it. And we'll be right back after these messages.